Anton Shander.
Oh, we welcome you in Wednesday. Nothing's changed on the Philadelphia Eagles front. And wherever you're going for your futures odds aside, and yes, we do have a couple of them that we have on the global market looking at teams. I gave you my odds Monday night, and I still stand by them. I don't care what one of these offshore illegal accounts wants to put up and push as realistic, just because it's the only one or one of two sites that illegally have these futures up there doesn't mean that those are accurate. A lot of times we know even legal bets just there to kind of pull you in. So I'm still standing pat by Bears minus 500, Colts plus 400, Field, not Justin Fields, but the Field plus 400, and stay, meaning coming back, is plus 1,000. I'm good with that. Now we've got a lot of things happening tonight. College basketball underway as we speak. Not looking good for me, as I took the advice of my buddy Jeff Parles from Book It Sports at Book It HQ, and earlier in the day was chatting with him. And don't worry, Pepperdine. Well, Pepperdine's down 10 right now to San Francisco, and I should have seen this coming. We'll chat with Michael Calabrese coming up, Action Network, Saturday Down South at 6:30, and get you geared up for a couple of big games tonight, and maybe a couple that you really haven't seen, including that Villanova-Marquette game, where Villanova, it's just been so difficult to start and stop, and knowing that the pacing of when your games are postponed is difficult to just maintain. Marquette has struggled, yes, but this has Marquette plus 6.5 first half written all over it. Now, I'll be off the air by then at 9 o'clock, but just something to keep an eye on. Outside of that, we have a couple of early games going on at 7 o'clock, top of the hour, then Rutgers at Iowa. And that's another interesting one, because just looking, and Michael will chat a little bit about this coming up, but just looking at where Rutgers is right now, futures-wise, especially just in that conference, and knowing that this would definitely improve their standings, how you would bet on that. Now, he would say just take the smart advice comes from Calabrese, the belligerent stuff comes from me. But Mike would say, well, just take them on the future so you don't have to play this game. And when they win tonight, beat Iowa, then all right, you're good to go, as opposed to playing, doubling down. All you lose out is a futures bet. It's a stock. For me, I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to take them on the futures to win the Big Ten right now, knowing that there's insane value for them, why not take them points-wise, not money line? Does kind of feel weird not having the Philadelphia Flyers around, knowing that this thing has been difficult. Now we know, 4 or 5 days at least, if not a week, until we see this team again. So from the ice standpoint, we'll do what we can to kind of slide a couple of things in there. Brooklyn and Indiana is the game. That's where I think we have to begin from a betting standpoint. Reminder, this show, this program, we don't sit and bog you down with the Wentz things unless we can put money or value attached to it. So yes, technically you can go on to the global market on one of these sites and bet the Bears +1, Colts +150, and then there's a significant dip. There is a team that you might want to look at +2,000 and bet on that. But let's talk about something we all can watch. And man, maybe I just hedge this and roll something with Pepperdine in the second half, because this Pepperdine bet is cooked. And it's a shame, because I really thought Jeff was on to something here. But now I think it's not going to be anything that we can bank on. Maybe I can get him good in the second half, but even then, that's going to be tough. So beyond this ridiculous game, this low-scoring game, mind you, at San Francisco, where I think a lot of people thought it would hit over, the one NBA game tonight to look at would be the Pacers and the Nets, specifically coming off of Kyrie Irving. Yeah, exactly. Bought 316 on the stream. Fade Parles. The hell was I doing? Rolling with Jeff. But here's the thing. Looking at the NBA game highlighted tonight, Brooklyn's getting a point at home. We know that no Durant, Kyrie, finger banged up. Irving himself said that it's just not good right now what they're doing. Things are just not really clicking despite the numbers looking okay for Kyrie and especially James Harden, who's definitely comfortable as one of the key providers of offense. Not that that should come to any surprise here. But the game right now sits at 1, so you're thinking might as well just take the money line. But even still, because they're home, you're not going to get any positive return as of just yet. We're just under 2 hours away from tip, so you might want to wait. I do anticipate people coming in a little bit harder and stronger towards the close on Indiana, mainly because you're banking on which of these two teams is going to right a ship. Both of these squads are struggling right now. Both of these squads come in losers of 3 straight. Both of them are trying to figure out kind of who they are around a couple of injuries. TJ Warren remains out. LeVert, the kid they got from Brooklyn, out. So big time out, right? So this hasn't been the full team that has been expected coming into the season. Brooklyn, on the other hand, is just dealing with what we've already known, Spencer Dinwiddie, who remains out for the season, but the latest being Kevin Durant, who's just not going to be there. That also has factored in as a gigantic element to how you bet. 8 o'clock will be off, but I think you look at the Pacers as a money line play. If you wanted to do anything specific early, this would be the opportunity to jump in on Indiana in the first quarter, probably even first half. And I'll let you know as far as where they are in money line. Again, the points, it's a point. So just take Indiana minus 118, depending on where you get them, is going to be pretty similar across the board. So lay a couple of points on the juice. Take Indiana on the money line. If you want to feel really good about tonight and you want to stretch this thing, and maybe you're thinking of another player too, then go ahead and maybe you can flip this thing through 0. And if you really want to lock in the Pacers, do it at a possession or maybe 2, depending on how many games you're locking into a parlay. The Pacers at +6, 6.5 is going to be minus 275. Those are workable numbers. That's not outlandish. We're not talking about minus 500 Pacers getting 10 points. You push it to a full 2 possessions, 6.5. You can work with Indiana at minus 275 on a 3-leg parlay with ease. If you just wanted to play the game, the Pacers money line, this is a 4th straight loss for Brooklyn. This snaps a 3-game skid for the Pacers, and neither team are good in this conference. Neither team are good when you really look at what they've done recently, and not having Kevin Durant is the worst of the 3 when you look at defensively, at least, knowing that Durant can do things on multiple levels defensively as opposed to Irving, who's pretty much stuck. And I mean stuck only in comparison to Kevin Durant. It's not a bad thing overall. Out more on the perimeter. KD, you can move around. KD can cause some matchup problems. KD can also wear guys down. That's huge. Just like Harden and Irving can, but you're still talking about one position, the guard position. Even in position-less basketball, it's the smaller guy on the floor, all right? Unless you're dealing with like a Ben Simmons scenario, and that ain't happening tonight with the Pacers. It's a tough one. They've lost to a couple of good teams. You sandwich that in there with that Pelicans squad. It's a tough one to look at. And I do wonder, looking at how tight just this expectation is tonight, that the game will be close, come down to the wire. I actually think Indiana, knowing really, and this is another element that you'd have to look at. Maybe you take it from the last couple of games as recently as a disappointing loss at home to the Jazz, pardon me. But you're seeing development, at least. You're seeing this Pacers team start to grow, especially Miles Turner defensively. I mean, things are working into some sort of identity. They're just younger, and they're just guys that aren't necessarily playing together at a high rate, but also don't have that top-level talent that the Nets boast. The Nets, this thing, as crazy as it may sound, because they're way more talented top-heavy wise, but the Nets thing is going to take a little longer to figure out, also because the Nets aren't as good defensively. Now, remember, we're talking about just like the Nets, who give up some points here and are victim to, especially without Durant, able to let a quarter get out of their hands. The Pacers, on the other hand, are at least manageable. The Pacers are somewhere in that middle area, just kind of being manageable on defense. And then there are times in which they're dictating pace and they are allowing maybe it's a struggle from Brogdon. Maybe it's a struggle when you look at just kind of the spacing of it from talent standpoint. TJ Warren, one guy, two guys, maybe 1.5 efforts are struggling. Defensively, you can rely on that. Tonight, you can't make that argument about Brooklyn. Tonight, you can't come out and say, well, don't worry, if the Nets are struggling, if it's only Harden or if it's only Irving, don't worry, at least they'll lock Indiana down at 22, 24 points. They give up 36 to the Pistons last night in the first quarter. What exactly is going to change overnight? If anything, it would take more of the game, deeper in the game, I think, for the Nets to turn around and realize, all right, we got to do something here. We got to bounce back. So let's just look at the Pacers early on in this thing and see if we can take advantage of Indiana coming in and stinging them. Here's another one, too. I know I gave you the Pacers on the money line, but if you wanted to hedge or if you just wanted to fade me, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Let me go up and I know he doesn't know what he's talking about. So not only am I going to ignore his play, but I'm going to fade it and play the exact opposite. That's fair. I wouldn't even hate you nor stop you from doing something like that. You might want to just look and maybe invest in the Pacers Nets halftime, full time. That's going to get you plus 650. Pacers Nets halftime, full time at plus 650. First quarter money line right now. Pacers laying the 125, Nets at 110. What about the spread? It's pretty much straight up. The difference, of course, is in juice. Wow. First quarter money line minus 125. First quarter spread here minus a half point. And I'm on Fox Bet, gets you minus 105. You can lose 20 points of juice right there by simply laying a half point in the first quarter. What's stopping you from that? What? Risk? What risk? They're not winning that by maybe you're avoiding the tie. Okay, I understand that, but if that's the case, then just play the tie. If you're scared of the tie to avoid a bet, then just jump in and play it. Pacers minus a half point, first quarter spread minus 105. That's one of the top plays. If you like Brooklyn to win this game, Pacers Nets plus 650. Halftime, full time. What are the odds? Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. It's all presented by Cure Auto Insurance. At Shander Show for me here on Twitter. Again, Michael Calabrese, Action Network. East Breeze is going to join us coming up in 20 minutes. And with that, a lot of college basketball. See if there was anything that he gave me, because we had a chance to speak a little earlier. No, all this stuff is all coming up. All right. You don't have to worry about it. The only dumb thing that I did was run Pepperdine on the first. Here's the beauty of it. This is how much of an idiot I am. I didn't even roll Pepperdine in the game. I rolled Pepperdine out first half money line. Cooked. That was a 2-bet parlay with Missouri. Cooked. Man, this is not good. The only thing that can save me now is VMI. I can't believe, like a fool, I thought Pepperdine was going to come out and do something against San Francisco in the first half. What was I doing? I placed this bet much earlier in the day. I can't even remember. I think I was just wrapped up in the Parles might have flipped. But nope, here we are, back again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anything else you want to look at first half? Marquette, I already gave you 6.5 tonight at Villanova. That tips off at 9 o'clock. Nothing else that will truly jump out. Calabrese pounded on Twitter, and he will again in the interview, I'm sure, this East Tennessee State Citadel game. It's his play of the night, 153.5. I see it. Go over. Wait, did he say under on Twitter? Is that it? Still time to get in Citadel over action. Okay, that's what I thought it was, the over action. And like a fool, I played the under. I mistakenly bet it. Oh man, this is the worst. That's why there was this huge pause in my delivery as I was looking at Calabrese's tweet at East Breeze. He says, still time to get in some ETSU Citadel over action. And like a fool, I was racing to place the bet before the program began, and I mistakenly put in the 3-bet parlay under 153.5. His reasoning is insane about why this thing is like 30 points below the total of where it's priced. You want to see something that is completely off. It's this total, and he's just demanding that you pound the over. And like a moron, I did that. That's got to be the worst feeling, right? Because this happens a lot on the app. It's just a mistake. We mistakenly text a word. We don't look at the autocorrect. Sometimes it's costly. Other times it's just a laugh in the group text that you're in. That has to be awful. That's worse. I'd much rather miss something than miss a bet here, especially when you're getting it from somebody who's pretty damn good at giving it. That just ruined my night. We have an hour and 43 minutes left of showtime here, and my night's ruined. I didn't even hit a bet yet or lose a bet yet. Well, I did. Maybe this is the Pepperdine first half carrying over. Maybe it's something along those regards. Atlanta at Dallas tonight. Just trying to find out if there is any last-second movement that you would be interested in, especially knowing that there is, at least for a couple, some lopsided action. And some of it has to do with the market, like how many bets there are. So, for example, if you just want to look at the other NBA game that starts at the top of the hour, the Raptors laying the 5.5. Saw a lot of sharp action on the Raptors earlier. 65% of the bets off 1,740 total are on Toronto, which is not a runaway by any means. There's enough backing Washington at that point to say, well, it's not just an easy one for the books. That's actually the same percentage, far less bets, though, at 1,361. So the volume has dropped, but that Bucks-Suns game, and we'll touch on that a little bit coming up because that's a later game tonight at 10 o'clock, but that's seeing the similar results as far as bets are concerned. If you're more focused simply on just money, and that's fine. And that's usually what I go to as well, because you can have 80% of the bets, but only 20% of the money because it's just nickel and diming. That doesn't really move stuff. How about this? Boston is getting a ton tonight on the ice, an absolute ton on the money line. 93% of the money bet is on Boston to win this game. 1,702 bets total. The Rangers are simply getting 7%. Okay, so here's my proposition tonight, okay? And let's talk this through, Kyle, as you are here with us. And as always, we appreciate you in all capacity. We've kind of done this now to where the 7 o'clock action across the board, no matter the window, will provide us with a bet. So I'm going to hit you with 3 games in 3 different sports.
Oh, wow.
All right? And all 3 of these have a large amount of money, lopsided amount of money placed on one versus the other, okay?
All right.
Now, some of this also has to do with the volume of the market, meaning if you have a small amount of bets placed in a game, that means that it's going to take less amount of bets to move it. And one guy who puts, 5,000 on a game is the same as, 50 or 100 people on a bigger one. So it doesn't mean it's the same. I'm just saying I'll give you the bets as well, right? Here we have it. Boston, we're talking about the Bruins, laying 180, 93% of the 702 bets placed, 93% of the money off that amount of the bets on Boston on the money line, okay? Puck line. No, money line. Sorry, that's the money line. So that's it. Charlotte in Memphis in the NBA, this tips at 8. 83% of 1,929 bets. So even more than the earlier game there with the Rangers and Bruins. 83%.
What was the 83%?
Yep, 83%. 81% is on Wichita taking on UCF. Now, Wichita is laying 2, and Charlotte, by the way, is getting 2.5. So there are spread plays as opposed to the puck line. So here's what I would suggest. And again, this is a suggestion. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So this is not a demand. This is just a suggestion. Looking at it, you have a contrarian play here somewhere. You have a 7% or 17% play some here. My guess would be that the Rangers Bruins game, if you really want to see people sweat, it would be the Rangers getting up 1 or 2-0 or 2-1 after one, and then everybody being like, "Oh my God, this is cooked," and then we see the Bruins come back and win. So I'm thinking between UCF or the Rangers, the two dogs that are getting very little amount, because otherwise we'd have to wait till 8 for that Charlotte-Memphis game. Maybe we look at a first period / first half play on the contrarian angle and say, all right, well, everybody thinks UCF and the Rangers are going to get blown out to high heaven. Why don't we take them on the first part of the game, similar to what we did with Detroit last night, if that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're known for cashing out on last place teams, so why not start with the Rangers?
Look at that theory there, man. Can we turn that into a promo?
Yeah.
This is the only place in radio. Forget Philadelphia. This is the only place in radio where we cash out on last place teams.
Absolutely.
This isn't even like.
I'm all for it.
I'm sorry?
I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is it, man. We've stumbled onto something here. All right. Now, which one is it? Because I'm going to go ahead and make the play. I want to pull the trigger here. Which one are we talking about now? I cannot believe that I placed the under instead of the over on 153 on this parlay. My goodness. Do you think they'll let me switch it really quick?
Yeah. How many legs do you have in the parlay?
2 others. And they're going to hit. I know they're going to hit. Drake on the money line, and I bumped Houston down. Or maybe, you know what I should do? Maybe I should just make the same thing. Well, this is a risk. It's not locked in. Here's I'm going to put this out to everybody here on the stream as well. If you're watching, you're paying attention. That's Shander Show, of course. Here's the thing. Should I just play the same bet and flip it as a hedge? Drake on the money line, Houston -9 out at South Florida. They're going to roll them. And just do the over to make my money back and just move on like nothing happened and take the loss, at least that I didn't win anything, but at the same time, I'm pretty much cornering myself into not losing anything. Would you do that?
Yeah, you're pretty sure that's cooked, right?
I'm telling you, man, Calabrese, the last time these two teams played, it was like 190 something. And it would be historic. He'll come up and explain it, but it would be historic if this game went under, if you looked at the drop of the total and then what they were and what they hit the last time they played. Like, he was going through numbers and data. Michael Mines, Abilene Christian. Okay, so this guy, I trust him on anything he touches, like Adam Thompson. These two guys that join us every week, there's a reason why they come on, because they make you out there money. And on top of that, I trust them when they touch anything. Thompson can come on, do EPL. We had Calabrese giving Super Bowl props. So, yes, I do believe the bet is cooked. And of the 3 legs that he gave me, the one that I would feel most confident in would be the one that I messed up on the app.
Of course.
Exactly.
To answer your question, though, I would definitely hedge your bet then. If you're going to pull out words like historic, then I think I give you the green light to hedge your bet and take the current over.
Yeah. Okay. At least I'll make my money back.
Which is sitting with what now? I got 137.
No, East Tennessee State at Citadel. 153 and a half.
I'm sorry.
What were you looking at?
I was looking at the Pepperdine game. I was stuck on the Pepperdine game.
Oh, God, no. This game, first off, the play I had was the first half money line. So, no, that's over. I'm cooked.
Yeah.
I hate that game now. I hate everything about that game. Where is it? I'm not even watching. I'm so done with that.
Oh, it's 51-47 San Fran right now.
51-47.
Yeah.
Now you got me looking at a live in-game bet.
Jeez, you started off with that game, and I've been locked in on it ever since.
What are you doing to me, man?
You get plus 240 on the money line.
I don't know. First off, I'm actually wondering if there is anything else we can jump in live here. It's not the only game going on by any means. And that Indiana Northwestern game is at 43 total points. It's a low scoring basketball game for two teams. Well, Northwestern
At
is
half,
trash.
Yep.
So here's my theory here, okay? Maybe what we do is we go over 113.5. Well, I want to do this separate play. So these are going to be two separate plays. But what did we decide on? All right, I've got way too many things going on in my head. So let me take a quick second here.
Let's go back to East Tennessee.
Well, no, hold on, because I have the Indiana Northwestern thing on my mind right now.
Okay.
Indiana is night and day better than Northwestern. Indiana should not be losing the game to Northwestern. So if you believe that Indiana has a comeback in them, then it would take points, right? It would take points to eventually come back. So this is not 43 to 43. You know, you're not looking at an 86-point total here. I think you're looking at something higher, and I'm willing to even push 113.5 to go higher because I think Northwestern is going to score a little bit. The only concern I'd have is just Indiana starts going ham and Northwestern gets left in the dust. So even still, you're at 43 total points. Maybe we should just take Indiana at plus 1.5.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, we'll do that. We'll take Indiana.
Yeah, if you're confident Indiana is much better than Northwestern and going to go on a tear,
okay,
I would take the +1.
Okay. You're look, see, I told you I'd listen to you.
Yeah.
More than me, that's for sure. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to go Rangers or are we going to go Wichita versus UCF? Are we going to take UCF in the first half with the points, or are we going to take the Rangers on the first period puck or money line?
Let me pull up the first half here.
All right. Now, I have it here as well. I'm telling you, this thing is just killed my night that I went under on Calabrese's top play of the night. Those things
There's plenty of action to go. It's not even 7 o'clock yet.
No, I'm telling you, I'm so disappointed tonight. So disappointed.
So you want to go? You wanted to go UCF?
Yeah, you pull up the UCF, and I'm going to look at the Rangers here. Now we only have a couple of games.
I believe the Rangers money line in the first period
plus 240.
Okay.
That's what I have. Plus 240.
Okay.
I like that.
And UCF
money line. I like that.
I like that too, actually.
Rangers, no money. Yeah, nobody's on New York tonight. I'm not asking them to go out there and the only other play I would
sprinkle on there.
Okay, now, but hold on, that or the Wichita UCF game.
So the UCF money first half money line is only plus 102.
Well, what does that tell you? Maybe we're on to something.
Yeah.
Look, I don't need value if it means it's not going to hit.
Yeah.
Plus 102 is pretty damn good of a return, and it makes me feel even better about our analysis on this.
Yeah, plus 102 for a half a point spread. Half a point spread.
All right, well, the value is, you know what? I'm going to play both. You tell me, you play one, and again, I don't mean to tell you how to spend your money, so you can do whatever you want. You can tell me to shove it, and that's fine. I'm going to play both. And I'm going to play.
You play both. I'm feeling the Rangers. I like the value on the Rangers.
It's insane value.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot lower than that.
First half money line for UCF plus 105. You know, honestly, I don't like that.
That's what I'm.
That's fine.
To the Rangers.
Let's do it. That's not going to be a parlay.
You said plus 240 for the first period money line for the Rangers?
Yeah, that's on Fox Bet.
Wow.
What are you on?
DraftKings has it at plus 130.
That's impossible.
I swear.
First period result, no tie?
No tie.
Huh? How is that even possible? This should be a promo for Fox Bet.
Yeah.
Cut this up and give it to Talarita, please.
Yes.
Are you serious? Plus 240. I just placed the wager. New York Rangers plus 240. First period result, Rangers Bruins. And you're telling me on a completely different app that's legal that you can go to legally and place a wager legally in the state of Pennsylvania that you're getting it at what?
plus 130 first period money line for the Rangers.
Do you think it's any coincidence at all that the app that you are on shut down and malfunctioned minutes before kicking the Super Bowl, and the app that I'm on was seamless, and I was able to place prop after prop right through the coin toss?
People are not on the Fox bet yet. Got to hop on it.
All right, make sure you cut that, please, and send it to Mike.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do that.
Wait, no. Listen, I'm 100% serious.
I know you are.
Absolutely serious.
Mark it down, 631.
Yes, sir. All right, we went UCF first half money line at plus 105. We took the Rangers plus 240 first period result against the Bruins. That's insanity. And again, we maintained there are significant differences throughout the app. Indiana plus 1.5 just overall as they trail Northwestern 20-23. So coming up, we have Michael Calabrese. And then by the top of the second hour, we'll be deep into, at least I will be sweating, hopefully not, the Indiana game that we played. And then also we begin what seems to be a nightly tradition, at least with Kyle, which I love. And that's seeing what we can get in the first half, first quarter, first period, whatever it may be. And I think we might be onto something for the Detroit Pistons. Of course, Pepperdine is now down 56-54. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, between that first half money line crash where I should have simply the two people that I should always fade gave me bad advice. And it's my fault for listening. Barrett Brooks and Jeff Parles from the Book It Sports app. I love them both. They're great people. They're great individuals. Jeff actually knows a lot about gambling. Barrett's just like, I don't know anything, so fade me. Barrett gave me Kansas State last night against Texas, and I watched Shaka Smart turn into, I don't know what, a middle school basketball coach. And then on top of that, Parles heavy on this Pepperdine first half. They're down by 10 at the break. And, of course, they're outscoring San Francisco by 8 so far. Tulane Tulsa, if you played that, 49-37, 8 to go in the second half. Also around the same time in the second, Furman, UNC Greensboro. Furman down 9, 50-41, and we will keep you updated the second Indiana takes the lead. Maybe not if it's during our Michael Calabrese interview, but after that, I promise. So a lot between Calabrese and the second hour where we begin to monitor all of the live action in the NHL, later action in college basketball, and even some discussion about Villanova hosting Marquette and how you can kind of maneuver around that game. Also mentioned that Rutgers-Iowa game. If you're going to do something, jump in, push Rutgers up. Maybe you like one of the two plays, and I'll leave you with this thought before we break from Michael. If you like one of the two plays that Kyle and I are throwing out for the Rangers or UCF, may I interest you in a two-play parlay where you take Rutgers plus 9.5, where you bump that line up 3 points and you ensure that Rutgers is covered in close games, not tight games, close games. Tight is 1 possession. Close is 2 to 3 possessions. Blowout is usually 3+. When you hit that 4th possession, that's when you get into that mode. So with that said, I like Rutgers hovering. I like Rutgers hanging. I even like Rutgers if they're down big, battling back for some sort of a backdoor 9.5, not 6.5 point cover. At Shander Shows, hey, get me on Twitter. Michael Calabrese next. What are the odds? Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler, presented by Cure Auto Insurance.